religion could connect in a deeply healthy way with deep traditional practice that works on our inner life. But I find one side saying, you can't use the religion that way, and another one saying, religion is stupid. And that actually makes it very difficult to get into the social space, the intellectual marketplace of ideas, very, very difficult. So for example, I work a lot in trying to enter the media, whether it's, I've been on the Today Show, I've been on O'Reilly, these kinds of pundit shows, where you can offer a, quotation marks, spiritual intuition to whatever the problem is. It doesn't make a difference. It could be taxes, it could be the war in Iraq, and not a right wing or left wing, not God as a Democrat or God as a liberal, but a spiritual perspective that kind of gets at the fears and the hopes of everybody as we talk about it, so the conversation can be different. And I find that from the media's perspective, what they really like is religion either to be covered as ugly and violent and exotic and crazy and nuts, because that's entertaining, or as trivial and ridiculous. And religion doesn't have to be trivial and ridiculous, like the Hitchens folk claim it is, and it doesn't have to be violent and coercive and abusive, like fundamentalists often wind up making religion. So it's a very difficult cultural space to find out. That's on the meta level. And then the difficult thing on a personal level is it's amazing how many people come at me when I'm giving a talk who will wait 2 hours to talk about how much they have been hurt and yet how much they seek. And that combination, to be that hurt and by religious community, and at the same time still seek religious meaning, still seek some kind of spiritual connection, and even seek a kind of belonging to a spiritual community, it is remarkable, but it's also really painful to just hear that day after day. I use the ecological model in understanding how wisdom traditions ought to work in the world today. And the ecological model, we need every single species. We don't know which species that's going to be extinct was actually going to be central in figuring out something that would enhance our lives on this planet. Well, I consider ancient religious wisdom traditions much like species. We don't know which ones are contributing exactly what to the unfolding and the development of human beings on this planet. And the greatness of this moment, the greatness for America, the unbelievable freedom and openness and permeability of at least intellectual and spiritual boundaries, the greatness of the technology that now allows us to speak across every institutional and dogmatic and theological barrier, every single one, if we want. The greatness is people can bring their wares, their wisdom to the marketplace, and I don't mean marketplace in the low level, but to the intellectual and spiritual tables that everyone can dine at. And we need them all, and because you don't know which resource and which tool you need when in your life. And I understand the danger in that. The danger is everybody will become a tourist. And being a tourist is different than living somewhere, and that's different than being a pilgrim, and it's different than being a pioneer. But each of us have our psychological and spiritual predispositions towards being in the world in different ways. And the opportunity of this moment is to bring our wisdoms, everyone, I don't care if you're an imam or a priest or a minister, or to bring your spiritual wares, practices, and wisdom to the marketplace, to the public culture, to the public arena, and offer it. And what's great about this kind of freedom is it's a phenomenal test to see if your wisdom works. And that's an incredible moment of, it's scary for all religions, and that's why some religions are freaking out right now. But it's an unbelievable cleansing moment, because now we're going to have evidence-based spirituality. Like evidence-based medicine, now we're going to have evidence-based spirituality. Here's the practice, here's the wisdom. Try it. Meditate on it. Reflect on it. Contemplate it. Use it. Does it work? Fine. If not, then you know what? It's not going to make it.